I was very young when life asked me to make a decision I did not fully understand. In a family where traditions were stronger than dreams, obedience was considered love. Saying yes was not a choice, it was an expectation. I believed that if my silence could bring peace, then silence was the right answer. I did not know back then that agreeing to everything does not guarantee happiness. It only guarantees that you slowly disappear from your own life. Marriage came early, and with it came responsibilities I was never prepared for. I tried to fit into a role that was written by others. I tried to be good, patient, understanding, and invisible. But life has its own way of interrupting the stories we never chose. One ordinary journey changed everything. A moment of carelessness, a second of sleep, and suddenly the road disappeared beneath us. Fate did not ask for permission. It acted. I remember the sound of metal, the feeling of weightlessness, and then nothing. When I opened my eyes, I was surrounded by pain, confusion, and unfamiliar faces. My body felt like it no longer belonged to me. Bones were broken, ribs crushed, arms shattered, but the most devastating injury was the one I could not see. My spine was damaged beyond repair. In an attempt to save me, hands pulled me out, not knowing they were also pulling my future apart. The hospital became my world. White walls, white sheets, white silence. Days blended into nights, and nights into endless fear. Every breath felt heavy. Hope felt expensive. Doctors came with files, reports, and words that cut deeper than pain. One told me I would never paint again. Another said I would never walk. Another gently explained that motherhood, the way I imagined it, would never happen. That was the moment my spirit collapsed. I questioned everything. My worth, my existence, my reason for surviving. What is a life without movement? What is a dream without hands to create it? What is a woman without the ability to give birth in a world that defines her by it? I felt reduced to a list of limitations, alive but unfinished, breathing but broken. But even in that darkness, something inside me refused to die. Not loudly, not bravely, quietly. One day, exhausted from staring at walls that reflected nothing back, I asked for colors. Not medicine, not sympathy. Colors. A small canvas, a chance to express what my mouth could not say. My hand was weak, my grip imperfect, but my heart was loud. That first painting was not beautiful. It was honest. It carried my pain, my anger, my grief, and my will to survive. Without speaking a word, I released years of silence onto that canvas. People saw colors. I saw healing. They admired beauty. I felt relief. In that moment, I realized something powerful. Expression is survival. Art did not fix my body, but it saved my soul. That day, I made a promise to myself. I would stop living to meet expectations. I would stop trying to be perfect for others. I would start living for myself. One moment at a time, one fear at a time. I wrote down everything that scared me, not to avoid it, but to face it. Because fear loses its power the moment you name it. The biggest fear on my list was letting go, walking away from a life that no longer fit me, choosing peace over approval. When I finally faced that fear, I realized freedom does not come from holding on. It comes from releasing. I did not walk away with bitterness. I walked away with strength. I chose forgiveness, not for anyone else, but for my own healing. Another fear was motherhood, the ache of something I believed I had lost forever. But pain teaches you to see the world differently. I realized love does not need biology. It needs acceptance. Somewhere out there were children waiting not to be born, but to be chosen. I opened my heart, filled out forms, waited patiently, and trusted life again. When that call finally came, it felt like destiny whispering my name. A tiny life, only days old, waiting for a home. In that moment, I understood that miracles do not always come the way we imagine. Sometimes they come wrapped in responsibility, courage, and unconditional love. I did not give birth to my child, but I gave him a life filled with purpose, safety, and belonging. Living with a wheelchair taught me something the world rarely understands. The most painful thing is not immobility, it is rejection. It is the fear of being unseen, unaccepted, or judged as incomplete. Instead of hiding, I chose visibility. I chose presence. I chose to show the world that strength does not always stand tall. Sometimes it sits and still changes lives. I stepped into spaces that were never designed for me. I spoke when silence was expected. I represented voices that were ignored. I worked, created, and shared my story not for sympathy but for connection. Recognition followed, not because I chased it, but because I accepted myself fully. Life did not go according to my plan, and that used to scare me. We all carry a fantasy of how life should look. We create timelines, expectations, and definitions of success. When life deviates, we think we failed. But the truth is, life is not meant to be controlled. It is meant to be experienced. Pain is not punishment. Struggle is not weakness. Falling apart does not mean you are finished. It means you are human. Crying is allowed. Fear is allowed. Failure is allowed. Giving up is not. Because every time you fall and choose to rise, you redefine your strength. Life will test you. Not to break you, but to reveal you. And tests are never easy. When life hands you hardship, you do not curse it. You learn from it. You create meaning from it. You transform it into something that nourishes you and others. Do not rush your healing. Do not compare your journey. Celebrate every breath you take, every moment you survive. Gratitude is not ignoring pain. It is recognizing that despite everything, you are still here, alive, capable, worthy. Do not die before your time. Do know. Surrender to fear while you are still breathing. Live fully, love deeply, choose courage daily, because real happiness is not found in perfection. It is found in acceptance, and it all begins within you.